Assalamu alaikum everyone, and welcome back to a new episode of Unfiltered Tea with Malu. Today I would like to talk about letting go of people, and that could be within your family, in relationships, with friendships, because I've had multiple encounters for the last weeks where I felt like I was put to the test to see if I would let them back in my life or not, or how I would handle a situation now in comparison to, for example, 1 year ago or something. I would like to talk about that today because I know it can be a very confusing thing, because it's as if you're transforming, You have your old self and you have your new self, and now you are going over the bridge to go to your new version. But it's like, what am I still going to accept in my life and what not? And because my feelings and my emotions are always valid, but the fact that you love someone doesn't mean that they deserve to enter your life again. And it also doesn't mean that you two are meant to continue together. Yes. I have a little story time for y'all. I had this friend. She was my best friend. Like, she was my sister. Okay? We were like this. Like, we even said, if I'm gonna have children, you're gonna be my godmother, and also the other way around. I would call her up for almost every single thing. And I just loved her so deeply. Very unfortunate, but last year around May, we had a friendship breakup. And even when I think about it now, because I think about her at least once a day. And even though I feel like she hurt me very much, I still love her in such a way where I'm just grieving her every single day. I cannot explain it. And there have been multiple times where I thought to myself, should I maybe text her again and ask her if we could come together to talk? But I just feel like it's not worth it, because it's like, I don't want to expose too many details on what happened for our breakup to happen, because obviously it's also her privacy. And yeah, it was very messy. But for my feeling, she really stabbed me in the back. And that's why I decided to call it quits after months of trying to understand her and to keep on watering the plant. And this happened, and I thought to myself, no, this is where I draw the line. So we ended the friendship, and now we're almost a year later, and I still think about her every single day. I also think about her mother every single day. She saw me as one of her daughters. I don't know if you can see it, but I have pictures on the side of my closet, like here, and our picture is still up. Sometimes people ask me, like, why would you keep that picture up? Because you aren't friends with her anymore, she did you wrong. But for me, that doesn't really matter in that sense, because with other people it would have been over and done with, but with her, I just love her. And that's another thing, like, I never stop loving someone once I love you. That doesn't mean that I'm not able to let go or move on with my life, but you are allowed to love that person even from a distance. Another encounter I had last week is with someone I had a very, very toxic connection with. And it was still the point where I thought that I hated this person. Like, I had so much hate for this person. I was even thinking, but I was thinking, like, if this person would die, I would not care. That's how much I hated this person. Last week, when I was out with my friend, I saw this person and I was shocked, like my heart stopped. And this person kept on staring at me, and I was thinking, like, do you want to fight? Do you want me to buckle up? No. This is making me feel uncomfortable because we haven't been in contact for months, and now you're just staring at me. So what do you want? You're also doing it very noticeable, so you want me to notice it. So what do you want me to do? So I walked up to this person. I was like, what's going on? Why do you keep on staring at me? Like, do you want to talk or something? What's going on? And this person said, yeah, okay, that's fine. And so we had spoken about things that happened in the past. And I've noticed that now for the past days, I've been having a hard time with, I don't know, I've been feeling a weird energy around me. Not weird in the sense that it's draining, but as if I'm grieving this person all over again. Because I can remember when I stopped being in contact with this person, it felt like I didn't recognize myself in the mirror anymore, because I was so close to this person. It was like a part of me. So then for that to be ripped away, I was so confused, or not me, but my brain. Obviously, your brain needs time to process that. In January, I felt like I was finally like pretty much over it. And now I saw this person again. But not only did I see this person again, I was in this person's presence again. And it reminded me of how nice things were when things were still nice, and how much we laughed together, and how funny this person can also be, because obviously everyone has good and bad sides, you know. It was not only bad. So with the new information I got from this person about how this person felt, etc., and what happened in their like POV, I feel like I'm processing new information again, and I feel like I'm grieving this person again. And not gonna lie, like today I cried a little, because I was like, it's just so unfortunate that you cannot be in my life anymore, like I cannot be in your life anymore. But like, we are really not supposed to, because the connection we had was not healthy at all. I know I'm not supposed to be in this person's life, but at the same time, talking to this person feels like home. But it's like, you kind of ruined my shit. Like, you kind of, yeah, you did me really wrong. But I'm allowed to have these emotions. Like, it's normal, like we're human. It just depends on what you're gonna do with this feeling. Because obviously, since we're like a year further, or I don't know how much time further, and you've healed, apparently you've healed. So that must also mean that you're gonna do things differently now. And I could just not do that to myself. Like, letting this person allowed to come in my space again, me going in their space, and building up a connection or trust again, knowing that it will not last, knowing that I cannot trust this person, and this person can also not trust me anymore, because I also did some fucked up stuff, not gonna lie. Like, afterwards I also did some fucked up stuff. So, you know, it's just a hard thing. Moving on from a person you loved very deeply is a hard thing to do. And since I said that if I love a person, doesn't matter if it's family, a friend, if it was in a relationship, I will always love that person. I think that if you are confused about your feelings, the first step is to recognize your feelings, first of all, and not fight against them. And then the second step is also to accept your feelings. Because how you feel is how you feel. I feel like we as human beings now in this generation, we are being too strategic with how we are supposed to feel and how we are supposed to blah, blah, blah. While having a feeling is not something you can control, though. I know that last episode I spoke about my dad and like the complications that I have regarding my relationship with my dad, and that's also a thing that I'm struggling with. Like, I don't know if I need to move on or not, because if he wouldn't be my dad, I would have the answer, because I don't let other people treat me the way he treated me either. But then it's like, you're my dad. So that's something I'm struggling with, but obviously that's something else, because that's your dad. That's also a dilemma. And for now, I just put that on hold. I'm just parking the feelings. I'm just parking the thought. I'm not really putting my mind too much into it, because it's something I cannot fix right now. I don't want to take any action on it. So for now, I give him space. And I give myself space until my mind is more clear and I know what to do with that. Grieving a connection like that really feels like the person has passed away. I think it's even worse, because if they would have passed away, you could accept that they are no longer here, you know. But they haven't. So it's like, you know that they exist somewhere, they're walking somewhere. Especially if you live in the same city or you go to the same school. You might maybe even see this person again, and you'll have to act like they're a complete stranger. And I find that so weird, because you've shared all these things with this person. You have memories. You probably also have pictures of this person in your phone, of you two doing activities together and everything. And all of a sudden it's just like, boom, gone. Well, not all of a sudden. Some things are really growing and growing and growing until things explode, obviously. But it's just like, boom, gone. And it's like, this person still exists, but I am not gonna know this person anymore. I also have that with my childhood friends. Sometimes I still see it through other people that I know, because we have mutual friends. And then I'm thinking to myself like, oh, I'm really wondering what they are doing with their life, you know. And I do miss the memories, and I do miss that person sometimes. But I'm not going to reach out on purpose, because I just know it's for the best. I find it a very unfortunate thing. When we're younger, we don't expect that to happen. because it's like we have our like small circle or we're friends with everyone when we're in middle school or high school. We're children, so we're not really thinking in that way. But when you become older and everyone starts to do their own thing and you start to have fallouts, that's when you realize like, oh damn, like I feel like for me this season is really about me. And I don't mean that in a selfish way. I mean that in a way where I am very afraid to lose people normally, or I'm very afraid that there's gonna be too much space in between our relationship that we have together, and then I'm panicking and I'm running after this person and trying to get reassurance or trying to fix things. I'm big on fixing and like problem solving and this and that. And for this season, I've really decided to just let it be for a little bit, even like without holding a grudge. Obviously, in the beginning, I'm gonna feel a little frustrated or irritated or neglected in the relationship. But I feel like if I've communicated a few times with you how I feel about your actions, and you are directly showing me that me or our connection, our relationship is not important enough for you to keep on watering the plant, bitch, I'm gonna let that plant die. In some friendships, I noticed that I just kept on calling them, kept on texting them, kept on asking, like, even though we live far away from each other, we can meet here, we can do this, we can do that. I'm coming up with all the plans. I'm always going to their city, even though I have friends that have never, and obviously I'm not pointing fingers, so I'm not judging every one of my friends, obviously, but I've been living in Brussels for 1.5 years now. I have friends that have never even come here to visit me in Brussels. Like, I'm always the one going there, or when I'm nearby, I make sure to think of them and ask like, oh, are you free? Do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? And it's not that I'm angry about it. It's just that I just feel like I need to take a step back, because I also need to focus on my goals and do my things. And if everyone's so busy, I'm going to be that busy for myself too. I'm going to fill up my day with things I can do for myself. Also, if I feel like you are only in my presence and you only want to spend time with me because it's convenient for you, not because you want to be with me, or you cancel plans with me just to go hang out with someone and then you lie about it and whatever, I'm just gonna leave you to the side. And it's really no hate. Like, I'm not even like gonna delete you or whatever, but it's just like, once I stop talking to you or once I stop bringing up my feelings, then I've given up on giving the plant water. I'm really not gonna do that, because as an adult, you know what you're doing. So me bringing it up will only cause a reaction like, oh, but I didn't mean it that way. Oh, and these 500 excuses. But when I think to myself, would I do this if I was in their place? Most of the time, it's a no. Most of the time, I would have done things in a very different way. And you know what? I'm all for communication. But if I communicated with you a couple of times in a row, and you still do it, that means that it's your choice. That means that this is how you feel about me, and this is how you're acting because this is how you feel about me. And I just need to be okay with that and just let that go and, well, just focus on myself. And that doesn't mean that we have beef. That just means that I'm seeing how you actually feel about me and you're not hiding it. So it's fine. I'll just take my step back. Some of these parts of this topic had been on my mind for a few weeks and some just a couple of days, but the feelings just started to grow. So that's why I wanted to talk about this week. See the relationship as a plant. You need to give a plant water and sunlight, but it needs to come from both sides. If you are the only one giving the plant water, so imagine you're the water and they're the sun, and a plant needs water and sunlight. So you keep on giving water, but the sunlight is nowhere to be seen. So then you keep on asking like, can you please give us some sunlight? Can you please give us some sunlight? Because really, really need it. See what the plant is doing. See how the plant is reacting because we don't have sunlight. Please let the sun shine. And you see just the plant like becoming smaller, like inkrimpen, like that. And it's just slowly dying. There's literally nothing you can do. And the more you give water, I even have a glass here, the more you give water from your glass, the less you are going to have for yourself. Because you keep on pouring so much water. If the plant would even still be alive, it would drown because of the amount of water that you're given. But the plant is already dead, so leave it there. And maybe in the future, depending on how things end up between you guys, you can buy a new plant. You can plant a new seed if you want to, depending on that. That's also a thing I want to say, like, not everyone is supposed to stay in the past, because I know we're talking about letting go and this and that, but I'm talking about that for the moment. It also depends really on how your things ended, because I had 2 friends since I was 14 to like 16 years old. We had a dumb fall out over nothing. Then around 19, I don't know if it was me who hit them up or them who hit me up, but we ended up talking together and now we're still friends. Not like best friends that are meeting every single week. We have our own lives, but we are still together. We are still friends. And that's a good thing. Yeah. You really need to give yourself time, because, for example, I'm going to give the last example before I end the video. But for example, you were in a relationship and the relationship is ended, and I don't know. So now it's your ex-partner. You hate this person, blah, 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 blah. You don't see each other for months, years, whatever. Then you have an encounter with this person again. When you spend time with this person, or you're telling yourself like, oh, I'm just gonna keep it casual, I'm just gonna hang out with this person, keep on hanging out with this person, but nothing's gonna happen, because I know in my mind that we're not gonna work out. It doesn't work that way, because your brain doesn't process it in that way. If you've been so close with a person and you both loved each other, you had very intimate moments with each other, and then you were not in contact again, first of all, that's a shock for your brain. Your brain needs to process that the person is not there anymore, because every reality you had in your mind, every future plan, every single part of the routine of texting each other, calling each other, whatever, is all of a sudden gone for your brain. So now when you get back together, when you start hanging out again, your brain is not going to know the difference between, oh, this is casual, that doesn't mean anything, I love this person, because you already loved them in the past. You already had so many experiences together. So the only thing your brain is going to think is, oh, I'm together with this person again. This feels like home. This feels like it's very intimate, because we were intimate in the past. So now I'm happy, because being together with each other also gives a lot of dopamine hits, So your brain is not going to know the difference. When you have an encounter with a person from your past where you know that it was a very toxic bond, toxic connection that you had with this person, know that you could feel pretty strange while hanging out with that person, or even days afterwards, where you need to start thinking again, and maybe you're doubting, like, should I let this person back into my life or not? Wait till those feelings have calmed down a little, so you can think logically with yourself if it's worth it to let this person come back into your life again. Okay, I'm gonna leave things here. I just want to express this with you guys. I don't know if someone recognizes themselves in this, but if you do, let's talk about it in the DM if you want. I also appreciate when you like and comment, or start a conversation in the comments. And for the rest, to the rest of us, the unbelievers, the underachievers, the Twitter and the leaders, I'm sorry. For the rest, I wish you all a very well weekend, and then I'll see you next week with a different topic. Bye-bye.
I've been doing what I want. It's a pickup in the back, by the trunk in the front, tequila in the back, daddy blunts in the front. Purse 101, first 101. I got the money, make a broke bitch mad. I don't complain, I just pay the tax.